Yeah, I'm just basically in a position to have to say something about well, it's been forced on me since the bushfires and everything, the media coverage. Yeah, climate change. Now, one thing to note, I mean, there's the latest the bushfires in the past 2-3 weeks in Australia have been pretty dramatic. And what's happened, for example, if you do a Google search on bushfires in New South Wales, for some strange reason, all like at the top of all the searches come up articles by the Guardian, which are eager to take the adduce the Australian bushfires as evidence of climate change or whatever. So there is that effect where the media, certain parts of the media, are vigorously attributing Australian bushfires to something, climate change, carbon or something. Now, one thing that ought to be noted is that there's two audiences. The Guardian, like the media, is speaking to audiences in Europe and America who don't live in Australia. And Australia has some unique conditions that aren't shared by temperate countries in the northern hemisphere, like Canada and the US. Now, well, to start off, the simple fact of the matter is there's always bushfires in Australia. There's bushfires every summer, and almost every year people in the media pipe up with, oh, Australia's on fire, it's climate change, obviously. They do this every year, and do this every summer, because, well, it's the only window of opportunity they've got to declare, the end is nigh. But there's a number of things. The fact is, Australia is covered in the eucalypt trees. I mean, eucalypts there's 500 different species of eucalypt. And the eucalypt tree is noted for its propensity to burn, and the fact that not only does it burn easily, it encourages fire, and it needs fire to reproduce to the point where you could say it has a symbiotic relationship with fire, as do many Australian species, native species. The eucalypt has a hard, woody cone, hence the name, well hidden, eucalyptus. And inside the cone are seeds, small seeds. And what happens in bushfires is the heat of the fire, in the heat of the fire, the cones burst and they release the seeds. And in the updraft, these seeds are carried to perhaps freshly burnt ground, fertile grounds to germinate. And not only that, as a lot of people know, eucalypts drop lots of dead branches and lots of bark. They shed bark every year, and branches, and they all these branches and bark lies around in big piles, and it builds up over the years, waiting to burn in big fires. Now, added to that, the leaves are full of oil, eucalyptus oil, which burns very well. And you've probably seen videos of whole trees, just the tops of trees, the whole crown just bursting into flames. And they just flare for maybe 20 seconds, and then they just die down, but in the process they ignite the tree next to them. It goes flares, and so you have this really vigorous firestorm effect. But that's the eucalypt, and that's how they actually use fires to reproduce, as do others like the Hackia and the Banksia. Now, this is well known. I mean, in California, Southern California, the hills are covered in blue gums, and handsome tall blue gums. And every summer in California they have bushfires. The same thing. And I mean, blue gums were put in, eucalypts were planted in California as a matter of government policy for decades. It was a fairly good idea. The timber, eucalyptus timber being heavy and hard and good for housing frames and flooring and piers and wharves, and yeah, it's heavy, hard stuff that that's more resistant to termites than other woods, and it's famous for being used in railway sleepers. Now, the point being, fire ecology, that Australian native species are like born to burn. And furthermore, because Australia is on the tropics, Australia lies on the Tropic of Capricorn. As is well known, all around the globe there's a belt of desert, there's a band of deserts around the tropics. And because all the prevailing winds dry out the deserts and they take all the moisture north to the equator. Now, the equator is hot and humid. The rainforests are hot and wet. You can't apply the word dry to them. Now, there's always droughts in Australia as a consequence. I mean, Australia always has long droughts. And it's always hot and dry. But this hot and dry state, the people, the glib talkers in the media will tell you is a result of global warming, but it's hot and dry, therefore it's going to burn, therefore it's climate change, which doesn't really follow, because I mean the tropical rainforests are hot and damp, and they're not there, and there's some fires that are burning. They're set by these fires are set by farmers who want to clear the land. But anyway, some fires in Brazil. But anyway, the point is, it's not a good fit. There's always droughts in Australia because Australia lies in the tropics, and Australia's mostly desert. And that's one thing. And I mean, there's been all these weather experts and meteorologists on TV channels saying yes, there's climate change, but they're also talking out the same side of their mouth. They're talking about the Southern Oscillation Index of El Nino, and just well understood, the Pacific, the Indian Ocean dipole, and these well-known, well-understood, well-studied effects that affect Australia's weather. And they can't really talk about them too much because they've been around for centuries, and you can't really attribute them to the levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, anyway, you get these experts talking about record temperatures, and they've also, and you know, whether the world's warming up or not depends on who you talk to, and the climate change people have a long record of just lying and feeding the data. And I actually wondered about this record temperatures in Australia thing, and I looked it up, and lo and behold, there's an article in Newsweek talking about warmest day on record. And where was it taken? It was taken in Nullarbor. Nullarbor. The Nullarbor Plain. Yeah, it's this huge empty plain, hundreds, maybe thousands of miles wide. We have to drive across the Nullarbor Plain to get from South Australia to Western Australia, to the coast. And the Nullarbor is basically the southern desert adjacent to the Great Australian Bight, which is the coast, southern coast. But somebody saying that they've got a record temperature from the Nullarbor Plain isn't very surprising. I mean, it's like going to California, setting up a thermometer in Death Valley and getting a really hot reading and going, wow, California's hot. Or going to the middle of Saudi Arabia in the empty quarter and setting up a thermometer and saying, wow, it's hot here. It's a record. Now, someone who did that, like trying to characterize the temperature of the Sahara by like a temperature reading taken in the middle of Niger or something. Who does that? It's dishonest. It's totally dishonest. It's like they wanted to say that Australia's got temperatures soaring because of climate change, and they've just gone to the hottest place they know of and taken a reading. I mean, but if you tell anyone in Australia, you told them, it's hot in the Nullarbor, they'd look at you and go, yeah, and so what? Yeah. But no one in America or Europe knows it about where Nullarbor is, and so they can get away with this. But they're desperate. They need to get away with this rising temperature thing because all the rest of the global warming stuff is hogwash. And at least to be able to say, well, we were mistaken, but we were honestly mistaken. They need to say that this, rising temperature thing is, true-ish. But no, just more fiddle data and more double talk. Trying to present Australian bushfires as an example, proof of climate change is just, it's typical. I mean, they're clutching at straws. But they are trying to get big money. I mean, they're after the big money. And they think fortune favours the bold, so they'll do it.